the time in London was the 70s. There was, I guess, a sense that maybe building wasn't that important, that ideas were more important. But you always wanted to
Not in the early 70s. I mean, the early 70s, when I came to the AA, it was a very strange, bizarre place. But I think obviously the message was about alternative living or life. You know, whether it was, you know, the bus project or the Welsh project or whatever. It was that. And in my second year, I was with Chris Cross and Jeremy Dixon. They don't like me saying this, but that was a miserable year. Because, I mean, Jeremy was maybe trying to be tough on me, I mean, to be fair. You know, Chris was extremely kind to me. I didn't kind of gel with them, you know. They thought I was kind of an actress between rehearsals, and like appearing and
resting,
you know, doing something odd. But I actually think that I'm in a way grateful to them because they got me so pissed off and angry that I was very determined that in my third year. Anyway, there were also some other people there, which were, I mean, if they would, I mean, maybe in Britain they would not mind them, but in America they would be put in jail for bigotry and racism, so to say. Like, you know, locking me up in a room saying to me that I don't really quite get it here. I have a culture shock. I mean, I've lived half my life abroad and every summer in the UK and went to English boarding school. They did not know that. And that finally the message was, you know, that I was, you know, crazy because I was rich. Only because I had clean clothes. You know, because everybody would buy an expensive coat and would line it on Bedford Square and the car would run over it to make it look messed up. Chassis would come in with a half a sleeve dangling there, but it was purple velvet jacket, but rather helpless if it was intact. So there was kind of this shriveled look prior to kind of that look of the late 80s, early 90s, which was kind of rugged. And it was, you know, so there was this kind of reservation about also foreigners, you know, and also you have to live in a squat or in a council house, otherwise you are decadent. There was a lot of that going on, and I appeared in fur coats, and they just couldn't believe it. And they judged me by really how I dress and what I did. And you know, I think it was very nice of them because in the first and second year, and part of that, we really were, I mean, we were kind of lost and confused. And in a way it was nice because you need that time to find your way. So there was a very nice teacher in first year called Graham Shane, who looked after, and he directed me to, we went with him to Paris for the whole, a month with a Club Special, and I lost my passport, so I stayed a bit longer. But we did always walk through Paris. The François Chéry kind of walked through Paris, and so literally, I mean, the whole city became like kind of an X-rayed space where we walked everywhere. I mean, it was really extraordinary, his kind of hand-on. And anyway, he knew I was going to send hate mail. Couldn't say to who, why. You know, but I think some people kind of sussed out that there is that going on, and so I was walking down the stairs with him at the end of my second year. He used to take me around Bedford Square to let my steam off, and I was so angry, and I bumped into Leah Creer. I mean, if anybody here thinks that Leah Creer was to me like a release. Anyway, so I bumped into Leah. I used to see Leah there, always wearing this kind of, you know, so imagine a whole school wearing dirty clothes and one guy wearing a white suit. Of course you'll know who he is. So anyway, the other interesting thing, Elias Engeles, who became my teacher in the fourth year, actually brought in all these people to the AA. I mean, he was, you know, Mark Fisher was a symphonist, very broad ram. He also, it was called the Greek unit. There were always, you know, Greeks there. and they were kind of really hardcore modernist teachers, and Ilya has seen drawings by Leo Ferdinand Sterling, but particularly Derby, and he thought it was so exquisite and beautiful. And who was this person? And he brought him over there to teach with him, and then Leo was given a unit the following year. So I bumped into him on the day with Graham, and he said maybe we should join him, he'll help you out. And we went, 12 of us or 13 of us went together to Leo. We didn't know anything about him. We just said, we're coming here, can you take us all together? And we did. We went en masse. And we were not in the school, we were in Percy Street, because it was, again, like the Ernham Street story, which was done with Don Janassi and people like that. We were also exiled out of the norm. And it was at the time there were demonstrations by Brian Anson. And another interesting thing is, in my first year and the second term, we mutinied. We refused to do all these like funny bus and whatnot projects. And we were in Ernest Street. And there was a German teacher called Zaha Hadid. I didn't see him for 72 till last year, 32 years. He came to see me at the office last year. He has looks exactly the same. And he had my first year report. I always say, I shouldn't say it, but only a German would keep a 32 years on.
Was it a good one?
Yeah, it was good, but it was very weird. I mean, and also he was asking about all the people who were in that report who were students at the same time, and I do keep in touch with some of them still.
When you left, you went to work with Ram and Ilya?
No, I never worked with them. No.
What happened?
So I mean, in 30 I was with Leo. It was also interesting watching Leo create change from October to June, from being a kind of rationalist to being a historicist and a classicist. It was a very interesting thing. So from first year, from the first month being somebody who can work with, to becoming really more and more extreme. And I actually think he was a very good teacher, because it was the first time we kind of talked about the city and the emphasis on drawing and precision. So, and then Ilya used to come to our reviews, and I kind of thought maybe I should join him the next year. And that's when Rem started teaching him. So obviously that was for me a seminal decision to go with Ilya and Rem in fourth year.
To turn away from the idea of a traditional city towards a more
experimental. By that time, I did not believe that to move forward we have to go backward. I did not believe that there's the end of progress. I mean, it was the beginning. Leo actually saw these images, but by the end of the year, they were all crossed out. They were not allowed. But I think the composition was interesting, and he made that very big symposium and exhibition on the rationalists at ArtNet. And I mean, talking about that period also, Matthias Ungers, who passed away last week, was a very important figure in the rationalist movement. And I remember when I was with Ilya and Rem, I was saying, Rem, Leo thought that Ungers was his guru. And I was like, Leo, I think, is his guru, he's my collaborator.
But you discovered Melnikov and Lisitsky by this time?
No. In the first year, in our exile year at the Ernham Street, with the seminars, and we did our own seminars, but there were people who talked about, like, Ilya came to talk about the Russians, and that was intriguing me at that time. So when I was in my fourth year with them, the first time project was the Middle Age Tectonic, and that's how. And I finished fifth year, and Rem and Ilya wanted to become a partner, and They first offered me a junior partnership and I said no. And then they said, okay, become a partner. But there was not really an office, so...
All work.
No, yeah, and so we did the House of Parliament in the Hague competition from Rem's apartment. That was the end of the work collaboration, but I carried on teaching them with them for another 2 or 3 years.